Hello, loves, and welcome to another episode of the Iron Wifey Podcast, where we sharpen and encourage one another in Christ while carrying out the Father's business in our lives. I'm your host, Michaela Robertson, and thank you for joining me for another Sunday, another day, another week, and another opportunity to walk in the Lord's will for our lives. Now, I am super excited about today's guest. I really am. I like to call her a Clarity Crusader because when it comes to clarity and finding a clearer vision, for your goals, for your purpose, for the pathway that you're supposed to take in life, Jateya Jones has got you covered. And I mean, she truly does help people who are multi-passionate or, multi-gifted find that one pathway, that one gift that is truly their gift in order to use it in so many other outlets. And so I am super excited to dive into today's episode. I'm not going to lie to you guys, I've been looking forward to this personally because your girl needs clarity. And so I cannot wait to see how Jateya helps me get my life in order, how she helps me find clarity and unpack my life, but also to hear more of her story and how the Lord has used her in order to help hundreds of women gain clarity. And so without further ado, here is our conversation with Jateya Jones. Welcome to the Iron Wifey Podcast, Jateya.
Thank you for having me. I'm so super excited.
I am so excited to have you here. Here at Iron Wifey, we sharpen and encourage one another in Christ while carrying out the Father's business. And we start this conversation out with the same question every single time. So, Jateya, what does it mean to you to be about your Father's business?
Ooh, to be a rippling effect of healing and prosperity.
Ooh.
That's my business prayer. Everybody that I help and touch, I pray that they can add to the ripple, and together we can be this massive wave of impact and income. And so that way, his will is done across the board, across the world.
Ma'am, we can end this interview right now.
Girl, stop.
We could end this right here, like to be a ripple effect. Wow, that is so powerful. Okay, so take me through this. How are you being about your Father's business? How are you this ripple effect?
For a long time I fought it, and I was like, we're just going to help people get clear, right? Mm-hmm. But I know it's deeper. And I started to just say, call a thing, and really talk to my multi-passionate people, because I've learned that a lot of us don't know that's what we're called. And we are going through life dimming our light because we've been discouraged to do everything that's us. And it feels like you're suffocating when you have to focus on one thing and, throw everything else to the wayside. And so I am here to help them let their little light shine so that they can go do what they're supposed to do in the world, because it really is a superhero power. So help them identify their gift, help them communicate it. And so then they can have confident and courageous clarity and go do his will via their vessel. So that's how I'm doing my part.
I love that. Now, many don't know, but I like to call you the Clarity Crusader. Like, ma'am.
You know what is so funny is that, if I should do this like offline, but somebody literally just told me the other day, they were like, you should have jackets that say Clarity Crusaders on the back. So when you said,
seriously. No, sir, this is confirmation. If you needed a second voice, this is the second voice. But you are the Clarity Crusader. You are one of the best clarity coaches that I've ever met, and you really help people get clear on their why. And so I'm curious, like, take me through that journey. How did you come to be known as the clarity coach? Like, you're helping multi-passionate entrepreneurs, but what led you to this point exactly?
Girl, God.
Amen.
Seriously. So I feel like I've just always been following the yellow brick road. It's like not really knowing what you're wanting to do, what you're supposed to do, being told this is what you should do, and being that little doting girl and being, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, and so really finding me has been a journey. But the long and short of it is, networking has always been my medium to get from A to B, whatever my goal was. I feel like it's the easiest way to get things done is because it's borderline delegating. And everybody brings you back what you need to help you get to your goal. And so I started off as the natural networker, and my goal was to help introverts and students network better to make their dreams come true. And I was
needed that. I needed that in college. Where were you, girl?
Listen, hiding in the corner somewhere, trying to learn those lessons. And then after learning them, not knowing how to expand my reach and really get it out there so that people would know. And so that's when I joined Purpose to Platform via Patrice. And she was like, ma'am, you do Clarity. And I was like, no, I'm here for networking. And she's like, oh, okay, if you say so. And so, from there, she gave me the opportunity to do Clarity within Purpose to Platform, and the rest is pretty much history. So that's how we kind of pivoted from networking to Clarity, even though the whole time it was right in my face, because my background in undergrad was technical communication, and we help people make technical terms simplified so they can be clearly understood. So
it's so funny how Patrice had that impact on you, because she had the same impact on me. And many of you may not know, but I met Jateya through Patrice Washington. And she's the world's best coach, period. Period. But it's funny because I remember talking to you about how I didn't know what my purpose was. I was just kind of figuring it out, just like all the women in the other programs, and how much I needed you in my life. And Patrice gave me that same wake up call because, I thought I was a podcaster and that was where I was meant to be. And that was my purpose. And she was like, no, you're a communicator. And so it's like, oh, well, that is kind of what I studied in college. That makes sense, I guess. But I don't exactly know what that means. And she's just like, yeah, you're a communicator. And so Jateya, I really want, y'all, I'm just out here trying to get, free coaching advice from Jateya, but I really want, I really want to know how I'm able to tap into clarity. Like, how do I know what I'm supposed to do so that I'm able to do it without juggling all the different passions that I have? Because you went from a nail tech to technical, a bartender, like you're licensed in everything. Right. And now here you are, a clarity coach, and you are transforming the lives of women all over the world by helping them gain clarity in their purpose. And so like, we just going to use me as an example.
Let's do it. I'm here for it.
We're just going to use me as an example so that people can see what it is you do and how you do it. But sis, help me out. How do I get clear on what it is that I know I'm supposed to do? Or how do I even know what it is that I'm supposed to do? Jateya, help me.
I understand your pain, but first I agree with Patrice. Like, you communicate beyond words. Your understanding is beyond words. So like when you come back and you say stuff, I be like, oh, how's she know? She sees all the way to my soul. But to answer the question, I always tell people one journal. And if you're already journaling, go back and read your journals. Because for me, when I went back and actually read it, I was like, this is a whole program that I wrote about like 10 years ago. Like, Jateya, why you just didn't do? Right? Because a lot of times God gives us these ideas, whether they're dreams or subtle thoughts or little whispers, and they seem insignificant in the moment because they're meant for them to be there in the divine timing when they're supposed to develop, right? So everything that you're doing and you're juggling is preparing you, even though it seems frustrating. So I wanted to start there. But to also help you, write down all of your ideas. Because if you're anything like me, I got 550 million different things I want to do on top of the things that I'm doing, right? And before I was like, they kind of go together. I just don't know how. Now I kind of see how they're building upon each other. But once you write them all down, see if they have any commonalities. The ones that have any, and I mean, think outside the box, like any type of commonalities, put them over here in a box. Everything else we're going to put over there. We're going to do that later, right?
Okay.
And don't stress out if it's 500, okay? And you still got 10 million over there. It's okay.
Why are you reading me for filth?
Girl, I know this is my life, right? And then do a ROI on all of them, a ROI of your joy.
Okay.
Not financially, your ROI of your joy. And I say that because I had a custom gift design company, right? I love helping people express themselves in different avenues, right? At the base of it all. And so I'm also a recovering perfectionist. So creating these gifts gave me stress and anxiety because I'm like, it got to be perfect. It can't be a hair off, right? These are handmade. People know it's not going to be exact every single one, but Hershey me was like, no, this has. And so the time I spent on making a onesie, I mean, like a penny. And that's without paying myself. So it brought me joy to help them express themselves and give gifts and make it custom and unique to them, right? It brought me joy to make the actual thing. But that ROI of the stress and holding my breath until they got it to be like, oh, this is everything. I'm like, okay, now I can. It wasn't worth it for me. The time investment, then looking at the financial and the joy. So it helped me then prioritize things. So I don't do that as, I'll do things for friends here and there, but I don't do it as a business anymore.
Okay. Wait, hold on. Okay. So you really just gonna read my life today. Okay. So I'm sorry, y'all, if y'all listening and she happens to tell you something that impacts this podcast or this ministry in any way possible. I apologize in advance. Okay.
I'm sorry too.
Yeah. Okay. So Jateya, here is my dilemma. You help multi-passionate people figure out clarity, pretty much. And so I am passionate in podcasting, but I don't like to edit. I have IRONWIFEY magazine, but I don't like to write. I love the fact that I'm able to give women a platform to use their God-given gifts in writing. I love that I have been given a gift in writing. So if you were to send me an article, or if you were to send me anything, or if you were to just speak your purpose, your words, I would be able to take your words and transform it into a message for the masses. However, I don't like that. But it comes so easy to me. It's that gift that you know you're supposed to give, but you don't feel like it. There's that. And then on top of that, I don't know I don't know how to bring everything together when it comes to communicating, when it comes to writing, when it comes to podcasting, when it comes to storytelling, which I absolutely love. That's my passion, is storytelling. I don't know how to bring it all together to where I'm making an income and it's not just a hobby, because right now everything I'm doing has been just a hobby. It's something that I do on the side, but I would love for this to be something that I do full time.
Okay. Why don't you like writing?
It's a love-hate relationship. It is truly a love-hate relationship. I have to force myself to sit down to write. Like when I know that there is a writing assignment or task, whether that be in my job, whether that be even writing for my own magazine, like I know the message that I'm supposed to portray. I have the ideas. I would rather talk it out on a podcast than I would actually write it down. I have the whole plan for my book, chapter by chapter. Haven't started writing anything because your girl, it's like I have to force myself to sit down and write. But once I do, it flows. It flows so easily. It's just that it's just like, just go right. I know you don't want to. I know you say you don't like it, but really when it comes down to it, once it's done. And it's like, whew, okay. So I don't know. And it was the same way in college.
I feel like I want to say a couple of things, but I still feel like it's just one thing, right? Because
Okay.
this does happen to a lot of multi-passionates. You're not alone.
Okay.
And I always chalk it up to Satan doesn't want you to do what's going to make the world a better place. That's number
Okay.
one. But the thing behind that too is, for whatever reason, known or unknown, I think it's also a fear of either failure or success.
I don't even think one of my biggest fears is success, because I would need to outdo myself the next time. If I am successful in this, I would need to be more successful if I do it again. It can't just be a one and done thing. So I have to be more successful. But this is my year of execution. And so I am gung ho, ready to go, execute on whatever I want to, but I still see like there's just this tension, like there's just this tension when it comes to having to sit down and write, even though I know it's on this plan, it's on this vision board that I have to fulfill. It has so many connections to the podcast, to the book, to the vision that God's given me this year. But girl,
It's debilitating. Like, it is paralyzing at times. It really, truly is. And if you're anything like me, I get tight in the chest, right? That's where it starts for me first. And I'm just like, Jateya, like I've literally had to talk myself through things in the mirror and then push past it. Like you say, once you start writing, it just flows. And so the best advice I can give you right now is to keep pushing past. And eventually that'll start to reduce over time. And then also tell you that when you're doing your gift, you don't have to outdo yourself the next time, because it's your gift. And your gift is going to keep giving. So it's not like you have to write, the pressure of New York's bestseller next time, because you are writing from a space of giving. And so no matter what you write about, no matter what you talk about, it's going to land and have that impact. And to the person that's receiving it, it's invaluable. It will be like, literally, I've heard Patrice's story a million times. The other day I heard it, I was like, I don't remember that part. Right? Like, she still keeps giving, just being her. And so that's the thing about being multi-passionate, is that my whole goal for you is to make money doing you. And so if we get out of our own way, which is very, very difficult, and think about the other people, and just know that, what is the saying? He doesn't call the equipped, he equips the call. So you really can't fail. Your next best step is always going to be your best step, because it's all part of the divine plan. You've already seen the vision. You know what it's supposed to be like. So right now it's just the phase of pushing past and unlearning.
Okay, so one of those things that I know I need to unlearn is charging, because I've been raised that, God's gifts are free. So when we go into, selling our gifts, or, even like writing a book or the magazine, I struggled the first 4 years with charging for the magazine, because I'm like, no, God's word is supposed to be free. Yeah. How do you push past the learned behaviors that are related to the religious traditions, or the religious lessons that have been taught to us?
Girl, so I'm a rebel. Most people don't know. I'm a rebel. And so with that being said, I always ask why. I'm that child that's in the backseat, but mama, why? But why? But why? And if it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. And I'm not going to do it. Right. And one of the things I always say is, we can't feed if we're not fed. You can't give from an empty cup. You can't. It says your cup overfloweth. You're supposed to give from your saucer, not from your cup. But if we're giving, and we're empty, we're over here struggling, right? We can't do the gift. We can't give the gift. We can't keep reproducing this thing that people need and want if we're not full. So you got to charge. And girl, I gave so much stuff away for free. And you know, the lessons learned of even undercharging. It's like, I'm just gonna pull a price out my butt today and that's gonna be it. And then you start to really like, and you're like, wait a minute.
This taking a long time for me to do.
Girl. Or even just the debt that you have to incur to get it done. And so then I did that so many times, time after time after time. And then I wanted to go on a trip with my friend for her birthday to, I don't even remember, Dubai. And I was like, I can't afford to go. But you know, if I would have had that money over there that I underpriced myself for, I could be, and everybody else is living their best life.
Yeah.
And now I have clients, this was a big lesson learned, complaining about my price. And then, you know, literally 2 weeks after a session, they're making $20,000 for one thing. And my price is $2,500.
Wow.
So I'm like, literally, Jateya, they're living their best life and you're not doing bad, but we could be doing better. But that person complained about the price, but then saw the value later. And so I just encourage you to fill your cup, put your mask on first, so you can really feed a full course meal and not just breadcrumbs.
Okay.
Practice makes perfect.
Okay. All right. So sis, enough about me, right? We're here for you.
No,
sorry, y'all.
So I done took notes over here. So when are we having this communication firm develop? That's what I got out of this. It's a whole firm because you're creating community sustainability by giving people jobs, teaching them your craft and your gift, but getting the things done, helping them actually do their gift and prosper in it so they can edit your podcast, but you're making some real money because you got hands to help. We could put that on next year's vision board, but I'm just saying, that's what I wrote.
So here's the thing, right? It already started.
Let's go.
The business has already been registered. Part of it, I feel like I already have the business plan laid out in my mind. It's just not something that's been written down on paper, but I've already got the LLC. As you received an email from the Iron Agency, Michaela at the Iron Agency, we already got the name. I already know what I'm supposed to do. I just feel like there's too much. I don't understand how building a business like an Iron Agency business where my vision, and I'm putting my business all out here for y'all to hear, but so the mindset that I have is it would be a talent and booking agency.
Okay.
That potentially helps people get on podcasts or helps podcasters get guests on their podcast, but also handles podcast editing, which I would need to hire an editor, as well as the show notes, because for some reason it comes easy for me to write once I hear someone's voice. But I just feel like that's a lot of work. It takes a lot of work to produce an entire podcast. Like one episode, that's an hour. It could take about 5 to 6 hours to properly produce. And that's editing the podcast, audio mixing, writing the show notes, writing the social media posts that go along with it, pitching to make sure the guests follow up, admin, all this stuff. It takes about a good 6 hours for one podcast episode to be produced. And so I don't know if I want to put out an entire agency that is dedicated to helping people with podcasting when I'm still trying to balance what's going to pay my bills at home when it comes to work. And, you know, like, I just feel like go ahead and just tell me what's wrong.
Ma'am, I mean, we already know it's wrong. We just need to do it. Like, you know, that's normal. That's normal. But I'm sitting here thinking like, ma'am, I got 2 clients for you already. One of them is me. But I literally got a phone call it's probably been a few months, probably like November, because I helped her with an event.
Mhm.
But she was like, do you know of an agent? I need to. And I was like, let me ask around.
I know there's a need. I just feel like it's too much to break off for one person.
Start small. Start
Okay.
small enough that you do your budget for the house, right?
Mhm.
You know, we got to know our numbers, all our numbers. So do your budget for the house, add tax, and see what you need per month. The house includes, you know, hair, nails, lights,
Yes, ma'am.
gas, food, date night. Like it
Mhm.
includes all of that, right?
Mhm.
And then add tax. And then also, because I encourage you to, while you're planning this out, plan out your perfect day, right? And whatever that looks like. So how many hours do you want to invest? You know, on average, it's going to take 5, right? Per client, just for that. And that's just one episode. So for example, I do 1 a week, right? So that means if I batched everything and got it to you and it's a regular month, that's 4 times that's 20 hours. We'll just round it up to say 30. And then you could divvy that out. That's almost a full work week. You know, do you do one client per week? Or, you know, what does that look like? Take that into consideration. So then you could tell me what you need me to give you so that I work within your boundaries.
Okay.
And I'm not just be like, girl, so with my, you know, and a lot of times your clients aren't going to know what they really want and or need, right? So you'll have to definitely make sure you give us what you need within your boundaries and don't bend them.
But but also, how do you, so here's my mindset, right? I launched this agency. The agency's successful. It takes off. What about Iron Wifey? What about my podcast? I have seen in the past how working, like whether that be having a 9 to 5, or even like now where God has blessed me in a position to be able to have clients who I actually like manage their podcasts or I handle social media for, like, I have seen that when I'm in my zone and I'm helping all these people, there's no time for this. There's no
that's
time
what you
for
have to do in your boundaries. That's part of your boundaries. And I mean, you know, that also comes with, I literally had this conversation the other day, that comes with practice too, because this year started off with the bang for me. Like I knew what was on my schedule, but I didn't know what was on my schedule. And so it took some getting used to for me. And I'd like to have that last week of the month for me. But the way things are set up, now I will have like onesie, twosies calls, which doesn't, you know, bother me, but I have to now rethink things. What does that look like? And building it from a perspective of with you in mind, because your gift is going to give, but you have to make sure that your cup is full to do that. And that includes your boundaries within your life and what that looks like. So within your schedule, where's Iron Wifey? Maybe she's the last week of every month, you know, but make sure she's in there. Because otherwise we'll just have clients all day, every day, and we won't have time for us. And God forbid something happens to a client, then something's happening to your money. So at least you know that you are in control 100% of Iron Wifey. So therefore she still needs to be in your money quadrant.
Okay. Can we take the attention off me? Can we go back to you?
Fine. I'm gonna come back to you later. Now I know because I got my notes. I'll be coming back.
So the Iron Wifey podcast is designed to sharpen and encourage men and women in Christ. And so when I release these podcast episodes, when I am recording, when I am praying over what to release to you, the word that God has for the week, it is to send out a message that is going to encourage, or send out a message that is going to sharpen others. And in order to send out that message, of course, yes, I put it out there. I have you guys here to listen to it, but I also encourage you to have feedback. I encourage you to let me know what you think. I encourage you to rate, review, subscribe. So if you are listening to this podcast on podcasting platforms, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, Anchor, whatever you're listening to this podcast on, please rate, review, subscribe. It helps, it grows the podcast, it gets the message out there, and it allows for other people to receive a word that's going to sharpen and encourage them. But if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to this YouTube channel and comment below your takeaways from this episode, because I believe that each and every message that is put out there is spirit driven and God led. And so I just want to make sure that I am being obedient, and I know that I am being obedient when at least one person is impacted by this message. And so if you are that one, please let me know, comment below how this message has helped you. And that's it. So let's get back into this episode.
Clarity. You developed a concept called the ABCs of clarity. Can you take me through the ABCs of clarity and how anyone listening can start taking the first steps toward a more clear life, basically?
Yeah, definitely. So A is accept, B is believe, and C is connect. A is accept because that's the biggest pill we have to swallow. Because it's the biggest thing we have to unlearn. We have to unlearn, especially those that are taught to be loyal and devoted and put yourself last and care for everybody else and be this over giver and not have any boundaries. That is a lie from the pits of hell. And that self first is not selfish. Or you have to accept that everybody can't come with you. Dead weight is going to prevent you from getting to your destiny and doing what God has told you to do in the timeline that he wants it done. And we know if we don't do it, he'll find somebody else. And just as hard as it is for you to vibrate down to their level after you've grown, after you've healed, after you've accepted some things, it's just as hard for family and friends to vibrate up to your level. And it's not fair to try to force and push them to go along this journey with you because you see their potential. They have to heal and see their own potential in their own time. And so accepting it comes with a lie. It comes with a heavy load. It comes with shedding friends, shedding family, shedding things that we thought were facts that are just myths, right? And one of the things that you can help you get through that process is journaling, always asking yourself why. The example that I give a lot is the story of the little girl watching her mom cook, and her mom's cooking a pot roast, right? And so she cuts both ends off and she puts it into the pot. And the daughter's like, why you do that? She's like, I don't know, because my mama did. So she went and asked her grandmother. I don't know, because my mama did. So she went and asked her great grandmother. And her great grandmother says, because we didn't have a stove big enough for a pot to hold the meat. So we cut the ends off to put it in a pot that would fit in our stove. So for 2 generations, they were wasting good meat, had big enough stoves, but it's because they didn't ask why. So ask yourself why. Ask if what you've been taught fits your life, fits what God has told you you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to do it. Because things change. Everything is always evolving. If not, you're not here, right? So acceptance is big. It's ask yourself why, journal, read your journals. See if you're evolving, or if you're reading a journal from 5 years ago and you're still in the same place, feeling the same way, dealing with the same people that you knew and wrote in your journal 5 years ago were no longer supposed to be in your world.
It's funny you say that, because the first episode that we came back into the season with was talking about my vision and how this is the year of execution. And the Lord gave me the vision for 2022, and I wrote it out on a vision board, and nothing was new. Every single thing on that vision board was stuff I wrote in my journal in 2018, 2019, 2020 that I haven't done yet. Like I said, I was going to do it. It sounded like a great idea, but it just hasn't gotten done. And so you are so right. When going back and reading those journals, I was like, oh, this vision, this year about to be fire. It's about to be all about that. 2022, let's go. Year of double blessings. And I'm like, wait a minute. Like, this is all the stuff that I was supposed to do that I didn't.
I'll put it on divine timing, but now it's time to put it out there in the atmosphere. So one of the things that I started to do was actually tell people, because, you know, we're taught, especially in the South and the Black culture, you know, crabs in a barrel. Don't tell people your dreams. Don't right? No, tell somebody. Because
Okay.
if you're anything like me, you don't want egg on your face. So you're going to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's 10 times worse having them see, I told you she would, and that's 10 times worse than not telling somebody. And because it allows you to hide, and we'll hide as long as, because it's comfortable, right? But start to tell people. What really got me out of it is when I started doing Mocha Mondays, I was like, okay, I'm going to show up for people.
Yes.
I'm going to give them a networking tip every Monday.
Yes.
And then I literally started posting my goals for the month too on social media. And it was like, this month, we're going to get one speaking engagement and engage with you guys more. And then I had people in my DMs when I would skip a Monday and be like, yo, where is Mocha Mondays? And I'd be like, okay, y'all, it's Tuesday, it's not Monday, but here's your tip of the week, right? So they kind of held me accountable because they got used to it because they wanted it and needed it.
Yeah.
So accept that you're meant for more.
Okay.
Accept that things are sometimes fables and others don't have the strength and the gumption. They weren't cherry picked to be confident and courageous and step out there and do these things. And that you're meant to do that. You're meant to be that trailblazer. So the path isn't going to be clear because it's full of weeds and brush, right? It's not going to be easy. You might get nicked by some sticker briars, but it's meant for you so other people can follow behind you, right? So acceptance is big. But it rolls right into believing. I was reading Marshawn Evans' devotional, Believe Bigger. And one of the things she has in there, you have it on. I love the book too. Like that was a pivotal point. Her split rock moments.
Yes, ma'am.
Like, she know my life.
Ma'am.
Girl. So that, but her devotional got me all the way together. And one of the excerpts says that we believe we're supposed to just pray, right? Asking you shall receive, but it's perceived by you have to believe. Like if you don't believe, even with the works, it's not there and it's not going to manifest. And I was like, ooh,
that's good. That's so good.
Because a lot of times we have this tug of war, at least I know I do deep down inside, right? Where it's like, I know logically, but that doubt on this side is like, girl, no, you can't. And it's a whisper, like nobody else hears it but you. And it's literally this tug of war. That's why I stayed in my job way past where I was supposed to leave. Because logically, I knew I could come out here and I could crush it. But the other part of me was like, we've gotten comfortable. We like our lifestyle. And I am so thankful I left. So it's like that tug of war. But you really have to work on the believing. And doing that is action. So making one of those things on your board happen. Or throwing a ridiculous number out there and seeing if somebody pays it without flinching.
Okay. I just started sweating.
So that other client that I was talking about, she did what did she call it? No challenge? That's not what it was called. But basically, you were challenged to ask for something ridiculous.
Okay.
Like every single time. And majority of us expected a no. But when we got a yes, we were like, holy crap. And we started to get more yeses and we would share our yeses and it encouraged us to ask for dumb, crazy things. So like my first teen summit that I put on, I asked Panda Planner to donate 100 planners for the kids. They said yes. I read that email and was like, shut the front door. Like, I just knew it was going to be a no. Like each one of their planners was like $20, $30 or something. Like that's a lot of money. And they said yes. So just start to do and it'll help you start to believe because the evidence will be there. But you got to stick your pinky toe in the water. And then lastly is C, connecting. So you have to connect the dots between your past, present, and where you want to go.
Okay.
And connect with people. So like I said earlier about networking, telling people, especially for an introvert, if you tell your extroverted friend or you just tell somebody at a networking event, they'll go do the blabbing for you. Like networking really is the best thing for an introvert, even though majority of us are deathly afraid of it, right? But connecting, because I know people that know people that know people that can get you what you want that you may never have even thought about, and make the effort so much less than it has to be. And you can then go from a pinky toe to a big toe in the water.
I love that. So accept, believe, connect.
Yeah.
Now, since you kind of mentioned it, your Mocha Drop Mondays, and I was listening to one of your podcasts, and that Mocha Drop Monday literally blew me off my chair when you said, no one cares what you know till they know that you care.
Yeah.
No one cares what you know till they know that you care. And I feel like that message is so in alignment with this conversation, because you mentioned how you going out there on Mondays, sharing your goals on social media. Y'all listening here, y'all know all my fears and how I'm supposed to be building this agency. Like the fact that I'm putting it out there, I'm like, oh shoot, y'all might actually hold me accountable to this. Like this may actually happen. It shows that I care about my vision, that you care about your vision. And so until we share it with the world, no one knows that we care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, seriously. And in all honesty, that is the part that has kept me employed.
Break that down for me.
Because people think of me and send me people or refer me to people, or I've had people support me in all my shenanigans, y'all. She told y'all I'm a certified bartender, nail tech. Y'all heard about the custom gift business. Like there are people that look at me with the glazed eyes and then still be like, how can I support you? There are people that have called me after the fact and been like, did you get the donation? I'm like, what donation? Yeah, the organization, because my nonprofit, we got the donation. Yeah, because I was talking to such and such, and they have a running company, and so we enrolled your organization in the running. Like things just come, jobs come, contracts come. People fall in my DMs. You've been on my mind. I need a session. All right. So because it's more than about the dollar. It's about the people, and especially for multi-passionates, because we are passionate, right?
Mm-hmm.
The more you focus on who you're doing it for and making sure that they're served, the more that ripple still comes back to you. It goes out into the atmosphere and the stratosphere, and it continues to help the multitude, but it always comes back to you. So, and it's because you care, because, there's so many people that you could contract and once they got their payment, that's it. There's no checking back in saying, how did it go? Let's celebrate your win. It's the small things. So it is all about that you care, and that's what keeps people coming back for more.
I love that. Now, Jateya Jones, Clarity Crusader, the Clarity Coach. You have a 30-day Clarity Bootcamp coming up. Tell the people about that and how they can gain more clarity for their lives.
Yes. So that is for the younger version of me. That is for the multi-passionate who is sick and tired of being sick and tired. You're like, I know everything connects. I just don't know how. I see the whole forest, right? But I don't know the trees. And it's to really, truly help you in 30 days identify that common thread in the fabric that's you. That one thread that if you pull it, the whole sweater's falling apart. We're going to identify that in 30 days, how to communicate that so that you can compound your impact and your income. Because if you continue to talk in silos about, oh, well, I do the podcast. Oh, and I do this. Oh, and I do this. And people's eyes start to glaze over. You're not going to have clients. You really have to find that common thread, the synergies among all of them, and speak to the synergy. And that way people know what you truly can do for them, no matter what your service is, because that's what you do. All those other things are how you do it. And so in 30 days, we will help you identify what you do so you can make money doing you, no matter how you do it.
I love that. And you kind of helped me a little bit today in finding that common thread. But I just started sweating thinking about this conversation.
Look, I'm like, what do we think it is? You know, I want to ask.
I know you want to ask. Okay, so I think the common thread is connection. I thought it was communication.
Okay.
But after hearing you talk about accept, believe, connect, I know that my ultimate passion is storytelling. But I don't tell stories. I listen to people's stories and I tell them to other people. And so really it's building connection between the person I'm hearing and the person I'm speaking to.
I love that. And your mode of transportation is communication. But what you do is the connection.
That was an aha moment right there. Connection is what I do. The mode of transportation is communication. That just gave me chills. Okay. So
now we know. I'm so excited.
So now what? Now I'm like, oh my gosh, wait, no.
Like, I be trying to contain my excitement, especially like in the beginning phases, because people are stressed out. Yes. But I'm so excited about what's next for you, because now that you know what that is, just take some time and reflect, because you've been doing this probably your whole entire life in your personal and your professional life.
Okay.
And just really jot down how you've been doing those things: family, friends, work, college. Like, just jot it all down and really reflect on those things.
Okay.
And then with that information, the vision that you now have, how do we connect the dots with connection to get there? You don't have to do all the work to make your vision happen. You could just be the connector.
Okay.
To connect all the pieces through connection via communication to make it happen.
Okay. Sitting over here, there's sweat rolling down my back.
I understand. Mine is normally the right arm.
Rolling down my back. It's not just the sun beaming, it's sweat rolling down my back.
I'm so excited though.
This is terrifying.
That is what you do.
This is terrifying.
I know, it really is. Like, once you truly know, because you don't have an excuse not to walk in it now.
Exactly.
Yeah, but now it's all about prospering in that purpose.
Okay. You know what? Year of execution. I have no excuses. So I gotta execute, y'all. So we'll see how this. Yep. God is good all the time.
I mean, the testimony has to come from somewhere.
This is true. Very true. Speaking of testimonies, you've claimed this year as a year of harvest. Tell me more.
Oh, child. So last year was a blur. I really don't know what's been planted, but I know deep down inside is a year of harvest, not just for me, but for everybody.
Okay.
Can't tell you why, but that's how I truly feel. What I will say is foreshadowing for you. So as you continue on this journey of clarity, the more clarity you get as a multi-passionate, you get download after download and God idea after God idea that stresses you out to no end, but it excites you all at the same time. And if you're anything like me, I'm like, I want to make it happen all right now. And I'm like, this is not feasibly possible. I didn't go to bed probably until 4:00 this morning, because yesterday was one of those days. My soul was on fire with excitement and anxiety all at the same time, right? And so I know part of that harvest is because He is providing me with the individuals that I need to make this come true. right? Because
Ooh,
I
okay.
vividly see it, but there's so much I don't know that I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And the vision is so massive, but
Mm-hmm.
it helps the masses. And so I'm excited, but I'm afraid and I'm anxious and I'm like, Lord. So now I know that harvest is included in now staff, child. I got to get staff. So we don't know.
You too. You too.
We don't know how they're getting paid
Mm-mm.
just yet, but the heart is in the harvest. It's in the harvest. It's coming from somewhere, some kind of way. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, it's harvest, and there's no real explanation other than the gut feeling that it's gonna be a bountiful one for many.
Oh, that's so good. Jateya, where can people find you?
The easiest way is jateyajones.com. And then from there, it'll take you to all other platforms. But my playground is Instagram. So I respond in the DMs if you want to come and talk to me. But yeah, jateyajones.com.
Perfect. And what is your Instagrams for those who want to just slide into your DMs?
Oh, Jateya Jones. Yeah, that one's real
Perfect.
simple.
Perfect. Now, I like to end the conversation with two questions. I have been on a journey through gratitude over the last year, year and a half. I started a podcast called Dear God, I'm Grateful, where I focused on gratitude every single day. And that was the Lord's way of allowing me to focus on what He wanted me to do. And so I am curious how gratitude has shaped your life, but I would love for you to answer this question by stating, Dear God, I'm grateful for ... and then insert your why.
Ooh, because I am grateful for so much right now. But let's see. Okay. Dear God, I am grateful for clarity because it's provided me an avenue to see the lessons learned. It's provided an avenue to equip me for the things I didn't think I was prepared for. And it's definitely provided me an avenue to prosper in purpose and help others have impact and income.
Yes, I am here for all of it. I'm here for all of it. Now, I do end each interview with the same question. You are on the Iron Wifey podcast. Iron Wifey was derived from Proverbs 27:17, which states that as iron sharpens iron, one friend or one man sharpens another. So our motto here at Iron Wifey is as iron sharpens iron, one woman sharpens another. How are you, Jateya Jones, sharpening the women in your life?
Ooh. They don't like it, but I help sharpen them by holding them accountable. Even when I can't hold myself accountable. But that is my role. That is my role in the circle, is to hold people accountable.
Okay. Well, I am terrified because now I know that you are going to hold me accountable.
I am.
Goodness.
Because I keep telling people, I'm trying to get an island. And if you guys don't do what you're supposed to do, we can't go play because you'll still have to work. So I need you to do what you are supposed to do, what we know we're supposed to do. So whenever I get this island, we can all go play.
Okay. Well, whenever you get this island, I'm going to be ready. Just make sure it's this year because this is the year of execution. I can't make no promises for next year.
But see, if you
this year,
execute this year, it's just going to keep rolling after that. Because, yeah, we're not getting the island this year. But
we can, though.
Listen, you know what? We can believe bigger
we
for
can believe
it.
bigger for it.
We can.
Buy the island.
Ooh, heart palpitations. Okay.
Well, Jateya, thank you so much for joining us for this episode. Thank you so much for reading my life of filth and helping me figure out exactly what it is that I am so terrified to do next, which comes with connection.
So
oh, but I'm sweating now thinking about it. Good Lord. Okay. Thank you so much for your time and just for who you are. Just thank you for who you are and for allowing your God-given journey to bless so many when it comes to clarity and confidence and courage and connection. Thank you. Thank you for being you.
Thank you for being you. That allows me to be me. So I appreciate you. And thank you for having me today.
All right, guys, didn't I tell you that she was dope? Didn't I tell you that she was very gifted in what the Lord has given her when it comes to clarity and just navigating multi-passionism? Is that a thing? I don't know if it's a thing, but it is now. But first off, I'm going to just say I'm sorry for taking up 30 minutes of that interview just to talk about me. But I told y'all in the beginning that I needed clarity, and Jateya truly helped me with that, because going into this conversation, I thought the gift was communication. And I think a lot of us think that the outlet that we use our gifts is the gift itself. But when she helped me realize that the gift isn't communication, my gift is connection, and communication is the gateway, that alone is a game changer. And I'm gonna be real, I can't wait to journal tonight, because the Lord has already given me ideas and downloads regarding how I can properly communicate in order to allow deeper connections. And honestly, this podcast, everything I'm doing, it all has to deal with connections with you guys, building that connection, allowing you and encouraging you to want to build that connection with Christ. Like, we sharpen and encourage one another in Christ. And so connection being the core, y'all, I'm so excited. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I'm so excited after this conversation. I am so excited to see what the Lord has in store next. So Jateya, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for your time, girl. You know, I'm gonna be texting you, sliding into your DMs. We're gonna have more conversations, but I encourage you guys to truly connect with Jateya. Come on, connection. I see you there. I encourage you guys to connect with Jateya and sign up for that 30-day Clarity Bootcamp. Because if you can see what she's able to help me figure out in an hour, I can only imagine what the Lord is going to use her to do through the people that sign up through this bootcamp in 30 days. Like, 30 days is such an impactful amount of time to truly step into your purpose. And so sign up for Jateya's 30-day Clarity Bootcamp. I'll have the information in the description included in this episode, so make sure you check it out. And Jateya, again, thank you for joining us today. And to you loves, thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of the Iron Wifey Podcast. I am so blessed to have you here each and every week, each and every Sunday, and I will catch you loves next Sunday in another episode. Bye.